Hello, my name is Laura King, and this is my Module 4 assignment on leadership theories. I'm in the EDD and Educational Leadership Program, taking the Leadership Theory RLC 8 course with Dr. Robert Campbell. Today is October 9th, 2020. As defined by Lucier and Achua in our textbook, leadership theories are explanations of some aspect of leadership and are used to better understand, predict, and control successful leadership. No single leadership theory is the best in all situations. That's why it's important to be well versed in all theories of leadership. When you know your employees, what motivates them, and the nuances of the situation where good leadership is required, it is easier to apply the appropriate leadership theory to the situation. In this video, I will be discussing 4 specific leadership theories that are discussed in Chapter 4 of our textbook. Contingency leadership theory, continuum theory, path goal leadership theory, and leadership substitutes theory. Let's begin with contingency leadership theory. The word contingency means it depends. In leadership, this translates into matching a leader and his or her behaviors, personality traits, and other characteristics to his or her followers and the situation requiring leadership. There are a plethora of factors that necessary leadership must take into account and that success is ultimately contingent upon. Is the leader an extrovert with energy or a more laid-back introvert? Do the followers prefer to work as a team and generally work more efficiently in a group setting? Are there quickly approaching deadlines that might require a more authoritative leadership approach to meet? The manner in which you approach leadership needs to match the needs of the situation, and that's what contingency leadership theory is all about. There are many aspects that need to be addressed about contingency leadership theory. First, let's discuss global contingency leadership. Everyone talks about the global economy of today and what people need to successfully navigate it. Solid leadership is critical in global business issues if companies want to succeed all over the world. Different cultures of the world respond to different leadership styles. A global corporation, like Microsoft or Facebook, must recognize that different areas of the world require different leadership styles to attain the same success. A multinational research team, GLOBE, or the Global Leadership and Organizational Behavior Effectiveness, has been working with thousands of managers of hundreds of organizations in 62 countries to identify 9 dimensions in which national cultures are diverse. Adapting your leadership style to your current situation and set of followers is good, but every leader has his or her own personality and preferred method of leading. This leads to a possible criticism to the contingency leadership theory. If you try to adjust every facet of your leadership style to every possible factor in the situation, there's a good chance you'll be an ineffective leader. Sometimes it's best to know yourself and how you want to lead to make your followers more likely to perform well. Now let's move on to the leadership continuum theory. This theory was developed by Robert Tannenbaum and Warren Schmidt in the 1950s. The main idea of continuum theory is that leadership exists on a continuum between boss-centered leadership to subordinate-centered leadership. Basically, who's making the decisions? There are 7 major ways to make a decision that a leader can choose from when looking at the leadership continuum model. 1. State the decision is not open to discussion. This represents the most autocratic position on the continuum and puts the power directly in the boss's hands. 2. Make the decision and convince employees that it is a good idea. This is slightly less autocratic, but still does not allow for any true employee input. 3. Present the decision and ask if there are any questions. Moving further on the continuum, this option is edging closer to allowing employee input. 4. Present a decision that is subject to change based on input. In the middle of the continuum, this is the first option that actually takes employee input into consideration. 5. State the situation, ask for a recommended decision, then make the decision. This is the first point on the continuum that employee input is considered prior to the decision being made. 6. Let employees make a decision within set limits. High on the participative side of the continuum, control of decision-making is at least partially in the employee's hands. And 7. Let employees make ongoing decisions. At the highest participative point on the leadership continuum model, this option is 100% employee-centered. There have been some criticisms of the continuum model. Mainly, the three variables you must consider in the continuum model are quite subjective. Trying to match the best decisions for the followers, the leadership style of the leader, and all aspects of the situation is difficult at best and isn't really clear in the model itself. Two clearer models, the situational leadership model and the normative leadership model, became more popular because they were clear and gave leaders a more defined path to follow when choosing a leadership style. In 1971, Robert House developed the path goal leadership theory, based on an earlier version authored by M.G. Evans. It is defined as a leadership style where a leader decides how to lead based on the situation to get not only the best performance out of followers, but also results in job satisfaction for followers. There are four leadership styles associated with the path goal model. First, the directive style. This is a highly structured by the leader style that works best when the followers want to be told what to do and when to do it. Maybe the task is difficult or complicated, and the followers know that their best path to success is following authoritative orders. Next is the supportive style. The leader utilizes high consideration in this style. Supportive style is most appropriate when the task at hand is simple and authority might be weak. The third path goal leadership style is participative. This involves getting employee input when making a decision and is conducive to many variables. Finally, there is the achievement-oriented style. In this style, leaders set high but attainable goals and expect followers to perform at a high level, rewarding them when goals are achieved. There are also some criticisms of the path goal model. Much research on the path goal model has been inconclusive. As with many other leadership models, there are many judgment calls a leader must make because of the somewhat subjective nature of the model. This brings us to the leadership substitutes theory. Sometimes, a leader cannot affect his or her followers' behavior. Substitutes for leadership include characteristics of the followers, the task, and the organization that replace the need for a leader. This theory is why many organizations have self-managed teams working to complete certain tasks. Sometimes, a leader is unnecessary to achieve a specific goal. A central criticism of the leadership substitutes theory is that even without a single true leader, leadership behaviors will emerge in a work group, as someone usually takes charge of any task-oriented situation in a group. Basically, someone will always fill the leader role anyway. So why not have an appointed leader with appropriate knowledge and experience? I'm the Literacy and Dyslexia Specialist for Clarksville School District in Arkansas. We are a mid-sized school district with about 2,600 students in kindergarten through 12th grades and have about 400 staff members. Between district leadership, building leadership, and department and grade level leadership, with so many administrators on each of these levels, I can confidently say there's no set leadership style for our school district. Of the four discussed in this video, I believe the contingency leadership theory would be the best to learn about and effectively implement at Clarksville. So why do I think we should use contingency theory at Clarksville School District? Well, since there are so many different leaders, all with different personality traits, combined with many different followers working towards different goals, the real answer on how to effectively lead throughout the district is, it depends. And that's what contingency theory is based around, choosing the best way to lead depending on the situation. The cafeteria workers who are trying to produce X number of meals by a specific time each day might benefit from a more authoritative style to complete the task on time each day. A group of elementary teachers, given the goal of raising student reading scores to a proficient level by the end of the school year, would probably work better under a more participative style, where they were able to make their own decisions and plans. The teachers are better trained and have more experience teaching reading. They will probably work better with more control over managing the task than if a principal with little experience with teaching reading calls all of the shots. The first step of implementation is training in leadership and its theories in general for the entire staff. In 18 years in education in Arkansas, with 60 plus hours of professional development each year, I've never received explicit training in leadership skills. The state has very detailed requirements of what we must receive as professional development, and leadership training is never included. This means that the district will have to deploy, develop, and implement the training in-house. Initially, I will need to discuss this need and have a general plan of implementation with district level administration, including the superintendent and principals. The curriculum team, which consists of myself and our district's curriculum coordinator, hold a mini conference each summer where our teachers get their required professional development and have choices on other topics to learn about. There's a keynote speaker or general session on each of the 3 days of the conference, then multiple breakout sessions where teachers may choose what they attend and learn about. My plan is to have a general leadership session with an emphasis on the need for contingency leadership theory in a school setting. Then we'll have breakout sessions discussing more specific aspects of leadership and contingency theory. Staff members will get basic information and a general idea of how leadership training in the contingency theory will be used at Clarksville. When the school year starts and people are in their assigned buildings, we will continue the training through principal-driven professional development in the first week, which is always the week before students arrive and is designed for professional development for staff. Principals will discuss what leadership skills are important in their specific settings with their followers. This will be two-way communication and will result in building leadership goals that will be focused on throughout the year. Principals will discuss the process with other administrators at district admin meetings and adjust their building plans as needed throughout the year. Departments and grade levels have weekly professional learning communities, or PLCs, where they meet and discuss a variety of issues. At the PLC level, these groups will discuss contingency leadership theory and develop a model where they match leader to follower to situation for any ongoing or upcoming scenarios. PLC chairs will discuss these models with building principals and work together to determine the best methods of leadership for varying situations. At the end of the school year, after working on effective leadership throughout the district, building, and PLC levels, I will send out a survey to all stakeholders asking their opinions of the Leadership Skills Program implementation and what we can improve and build on to make it better and more meaningful. Leaders will meet and make decisions about next steps and the future of the program. Our textbook by Lucier and Achua, Leadership, Theory, Application, and Skill Development, was frequently referenced throughout this video. I've included references to all of the images, clip art, and data that has been used. Thank you for viewing this informational video. I appreciate any feedback that you can give me, and I hope everybody has learned as much from this Module 4 assignment as I have.